past few years, discussions have taken place surrounding representation in institutions such as Hollywood, the Oscars, and the Golden Globes. Whether for the lack of racial diversity, gender diversity, or labeling Minari, a Korean American film, as foreign, conversations discussing how people in positions of power understand diversity in film have become much more common. As film companies and critics work to improve representation, organizations such as Facing History and Yourselves urge people to look at both the current conditions and the historical context of their representation. In the 1920s, Hollywood faced a series of sex and murder scandals that left people feeling like the movie industry was a little too inappropriate for the everyday person, especially for those with kids. In order to protect their reputation, Hollywood executives formed the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America, which was led by former Postmaster General William Hayes, who was well known for greatly improving the United States Postal Service as well as for being a prude. As the president of the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America, Hayes put together a series of don'ts and be carefuls in order to encourage movies to be seen as more family-friendly. However, these guidelines that would eventually be known as the Hayes Code had some more serious implications. Due to rules about not portraying interracial relationships, it was rare that people of color would be cast as a romantic lead. This led to characters of color being played by white actors, just so their romantic interests could also be played by white actors. For example, in the movie The Good Earth, which took place in China and had entirely Chinese characters, both of the main characters were played by white actors, Paul Mooney and Louise Rayner. Despite the production team having considered Chinese actress Anna May Wong for the role of the female lead, Louise Rayner would go on to become the first of two white women to win the Oscar for Best Actress for playing an Asian woman. It wouldn't be until 2021 that the second Asian actress would win the same award for playing Asian women. Alongside the racism in the Hayes Code, William Hayes' guidelines also severely impacted representation for other marginalized groups, most notably the LGBTQ community, which has lasting impacts into the modern day, where LGBTQ characters are still very much few and far between. Hollywood studios also relied on another system called central casting. Through central casting, studios would have a group of actors that would be able to pull from whenever they needed people to play small roles in their films. Studios would often rely on racist tropes in putting together their central casting teams, preventing people who didn't fall into their narrow ideas of what a person of a certain racial group from ever being in a film. Actress Hattie McDaniel recounted having to put on extra weight and wear a fat suit just in order to fit the stereotype of the motherly black woman, in order to be in Gone with the Wind.
I'm not. So put on the dress, because we're late already.
What my lamb going to wear?
That?
No, you ain't. You can't show your bosom for 3 o'clock. I'm going to speak to your mom about you.
If you say one word, Mother, I won't eat a bite.
Well, keep the shawl on your shoulder. I ain't even for you to get all freckled after buttermilk I done put on you all this winter, reaching in my circles.
As the years went on, these specific policies and systems went away, but the biases and tropes remained. To this day, white actresses such as Emma Stone and Scarlett Johansson have taken roles playing Asian women. In Marvel's Doctor Strange, a character who is historically an Asian man in the comics was reimagined as a Celtic woman, played by Tilda Swinton.
All right, how do we do that? Where do we start?
Don't like that, Matt?
Oh no, it's really good. It's just, I've seen it before in gift shops.
What about this one?
Acupuncture, great.
This character would then make jokes that poked fun at Hinduism and Buddhism, which are both Asian religions. And this problem is larger than individual movies. In a study done by USC Annenberg that analyzed the portrayal of marginalized groups in the 100 top grossing movies from every year from 2007 to 2019, only 34.3% of characters were people of color, and about 5% of leads were women of color. And this problem is even worse off-screen, where only 11.1% of casting directors and 13.1% of directors are people of color. Going forward, there are a few things that Hollywood can do to improve their representation. By hiring more creatives of color, such as directors, screenwriters, and sensitivity readers, efforts towards quality representation can be made by people who know how to best represent themselves. Rather than relying on broad stereotypes to tell the stories of marginalized peoples, these movies can start to be based on the lived experiences instead.